Macro. Mhm. Testing. Okay. Just to confirm, the microphone is on. Okay. The microphone is showing as on the device. So I have not altered anything. I'm looking at it as I am speaking. Whenever you all click on this video, if sound is an issue, okay, I did a previous video testing, the sound is working. So that tells me that what they do is they come on and they listen. And when they hear me saying certain things, perhaps that is when they decide to go in and do something. Okay, I'm just putting that out there for the world that don't want to believe it. Everything is not tech issues. Everything is not just life. Everything is not just somebody's disability. Okay. And these things have been being used and exploited to hide a lot of corrupt activity and behavior, not just towards me and my son, but many. Okay. Many who don't want to kiss ass anymore. Okay. Many who don't want to just lay down and be abused anymore. Okay. Lay down and take the brunt, the bottom of the totem pole and the brunt of a stick while people benefit off of them and pretend like they're the problem. Okay. So, for an example, I'm dealing with my oversoul and team on the fact that karmics have continued to force their way into my life and that I am not pleased with taking on anything to do with them because of their deceptive, devious ways of forcing their way into my space. Okay. This is how many of them have been trying to bypass the brunts of what they deserve, what they have accumulated. Okay. As the collective is attempting to heal and rebuild their energy in their life, this is something that they have perpetually done, timeline after timeline. Okay. Um, because again, it's a reason why these people always want to be up in the face or up in the vicinity of the collective as they simultaneously hate them. It's a reason for that. And when people start really sitting with it, it's going to click and make sense. It's the reason why people are insistent on being around the collective, but simultaneously hate them. It is not nothing about how what they have tried to make it appear. When we reduce this to simplicity, we're going to understand that this is something energetic. They're trying to dump their junk and they're trying to absorb what the collective honorably has co-created for themselves vibrationally. This is why somebody who don't like a person wants to sit on top of them in an apartment complex. This is why they just suddenly want to land at the same complex, same city, same location. That's why. It ain't a by chance. It's not just work. It's not, oh, these were some of my old work, but no, it's none of that. They want to dump their karma and their junk by proximity. This is a devious trickster way trying to hack the matrix, trying to hack the spiritual laws, universal spiritual laws, okay? Proximity. Mhm. Especially while they have caused compromise to the target's vibration. This is one of the reasons why they try to rush in so far, fast and furious, and try to ensure that the collective and their targets, including the disabled, don't get there so that they can exploit it for as long as they can, so that they can continue to dump, by way of the porosity of the collectives, biofield and all of those things, or anything that's compromised their resonance and health and well-being by poison, poisonous substance, psychic attacks, unnecessary cruelty, unnecessary hardships, manufactured difficulties, all to compromise so that they could hopefully continue to steal, swap, dump. But that's deleted. We're dealing with that. I'm talking to my oversoul team, like, I have something that we're requiring for that. Okay. Because there are many people, that's the story, people that they have done the work, they've made the decisions, they have done what others don't want to do, which is leave these motherfuckers alone. Cut them off, move on, learn your lesson, learn your self-love, whatever that is. Get out of the fog and matrix haze shit and make the change. And so many of us have done that. These are people who keep migrating around because those entities have possessed them to do so. So they keep following the collective around so as to, this is why disruption, the collective can tell. So when that starts to happen again for no reason, especially if they themselves haven't made any decisions, because it's a difference between, when we make certain choices, okay, this person is not good for you, or blah, 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 and you know it, but yet you're still wanting to blah, 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 blah. Okay. Versus people infiltrating, following them. So they can sit upstairs and be weird. So that it can be like they're on the same land, like there's a connection. There is no connection. There's no friendship. There's no camaraderie. There's no agreements. There's none of that. But forcing them their way by exploiting authority, coming into their spaces, or sending trashy motherfuckers into their spaces, crackheads, meth heads, employees who don't like them, all that are equally stalking them, to come in here and touch shit. That's why they always wanting to do some fucking, we need to do a walkthrough that they never came through to do. They went through all of that. I'm gonna give you all that information. I have a video here where I was telling you all the story about, how they just came with no notice, and and typically, I mean, it's standard, if I don't give a fuck if it is a complex or programs, it is standard to do so. How they made a deal, how that the maintenance guy was out of pocket and out of the scope of their position, their fucking maintenance. They to fix shit. That's it. The other stuff is out of the scope of their position. How they just came here when suddenly I was able to have surveillance back and up and running for my son when it had been out for eons because of the sabotage. Suddenly there was a need within 24 hours less of him having surveillance put back up. Suddenly they needed to do a walkthrough without notice. And as I asked them if they could come back the next day, as we were busy, and that I would communicate with management regarding that, that is when he said, well, I'm going to need to hear that from the tenant. I said, no. And that is when then the management decided to no longer communicate with me. And then that is when suddenly my son receives a letter from Beaumont Housing Authority talking about unauthorized occupants. Is that a coincidence that that all happened together at the same time? I don't think so. Coming in here, doing what they have no business doing. So karmics coming in here, sending people in here to touch things, to grab things, to put their nasty cunt ass energy up in here. So they can what? Attempt to kill us. This bitch is attempting to unaliven me and my son and they trashy friends. Having people come in here, as I said, and since it's something that's being utilized by the maintenance or the property, so you can't say, you know, breaking and entering. So coming in here, going through people's shit, this is why a whole lot of folks gonna have a whole lot of problems, whether they know it or not. Because exploiting these types of programs is sickening. These motherfuckers are sycophants. It's sickening. We got to do an inspection. We have to go through there, and then people like, where's my money and where's my? I can only imagine. And then it's like, oh, they're disabled. Oh, they probably forgot. They probably lost it. They probably dropped it. They're disabled. Raggedy motherfuckers. Trash. They're fucking trash. Okay. So coming in tampering with people's shit. We assume that all these people got integrity. I don't know what the fuck reason why. I don't know why the fuck we assume. And I'm just saying in general, we assume businesses in general, and I don't assume that no more. We assume they're decent. We assume they're integral. Why? Because why? Because it's convenient to, it's easier to, it'll get too messy not to. Coming in here putting poison and substance in things. Man, I tell you what, coming in here doing seances and shit, conjuring entities, all the shit that they pretend like they don't do, at least to their friends and family that don't know about it. They're at it now. It's like they could be showering, they could be doing a self-care bag, bitch. You know, it tells you a lot. They get up and start. See what I'm saying? This is the essence of these people. Instead of getting up, doing some self-love, self-care, self-healing, some alchemy, some reflection, some all those things, they get up and go to town on disabled people and doing spell work on those that are They're compromised. Their energy is compromised. And so now I'm calling judgment on this infiltration and forcing their way into my goddamn energy, into me and my son's energy and space via housing authority programs, via corrupt landlords and property owners, via corrupt legal officials and government authority officials. I don't give a fuck what is via. Via every motherfucker I break up with, or every honeypot they sent, via that is that proximity and abuse by proximity and abuse by proxy. So forcing their energy into our space. Remember, like what I told y'all, if you're on the same grid, you're in the same complex, it's an energy and it's an attempt to hijack and trick, but I've exposed it and I'm calling it. I'm exposing that. People who have alchemized and made the tough decisions, we are no longer to be subject to this bullshit, and it's hell to pay for them doing it. It's hell to pay for them. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna end it here so I could test to see if the sound has been fucked with this time. I'm not gonna be on here for no hour, you raggedy bitch. It is 16 minutes. Well, now it's 17 minutes in. So I'm going to end it here. I'm going to test it to see if the sound is on. And if the sound is not on, I will come onto a different platform. I will somehow communicate. I will do a pre recorded video. You all, one way or the other, will get the information.